Hi guys, right, a brief message from our messenger arrived this morning. Good morning, Ash. Hope you had a lovely time in Brisbane, where I was for 3 days and 3 nights, and the weather that was being forecast didn't happen, nonetheless, after I left. This morning in the kingdom, an enormous white dragon was in the outer court amongst the archangels and angels. Ezekiel told me that it was preparing for battle with the red dragon. Things are going to keep getting frantic, crazy, and challenging in this world as it collapses. Ezekiel said to ride the wave, which I intuitively knew that it meant to be prepared for the wave of chaos coming. Now, she says that I do recall reading some time ago about the prophecy of the white and red dragon, but I can't recall all of it. I'll aim to find it again for a read. I just read through a really very interesting website, all things English, between the banners of white and red dragons going back to 5th century AD and battles throughout England. Yeah, it's things are heating up, definitely. Now, why was I in Brisbane? Well, long story short, I've been taking a very close look because of my mother, who is 87 years of age, and I visited her in February. No energy at all. She is in a facility, her own choice. She insisted on going at the beginning of last year, in February, been there for 1 year. And she was just complaining of no energy, and so not eating, and therefore all kinds of things going on, as you would expect from somebody that age, no energy and not wanting to eat. Barbara from Ohio had told me on several occasions she didn't know what to do, whether it should focus on her this business of her own to get it going, or to continue her day job, which is working amongst a whole lot of people who have been jabbed coming into the store where she works. And it's a health food store. It was only because I finally asked, so what is this business you are thinking about? So she sent me the link, and it's about glutathione. Glutathione is the master antioxidant for all cells of our body. It the lack of it, it decreases naturally occurring in our body, because our body does make it up to the age of about 20, and then it's a slow decline, as most things are, as we begin to age. And certainly with a lack of foods and the soils, etc., the depletion of them, it's increasingly difficult to keep the body making glutathione. Now, what is interesting is that, how do I put it so simply? The sun is our source of energy for all life on this planet by design. The sun causes photosynthesis of the green stuff in grass and vegetables, dark leafy vegetables, etc. And animals eat the grass, and that's if you're able to eat grass-fed beef or lamb, or so glutathione is naturally occurring in green, chlorophyll heavy products, wheat grasses, that kind of thing. However, because of what's being done to our food supplies and the dumbing down, the suggestion through government agencies of what the pyramid chain of the proper diet should be, everything that we've been lied to about, glutathione levels run low as we age, as do most things. And as the master antioxidant, is responsible for our cells functioning properly, including detoxing from heavy metals and all the chemicals that we're bombarded with. It's also responsible for absorbing free radicals that form through all the toxic elements that are aimed at us, including the 5G networks. And it's pretty remarkable when you read about it, and I've been listening to men mostly talk about it, and women. And so the reality is it's essential for life, and a good, productive, healthy life into old age. So the delivery of it into our bodies has been not good, because it's destroyed by stomach acid, so taking a pill or whatever is pretty well useless. People go and pay hundreds of dollars to have an IV infusion, and that lasts for about 90 minutes in the bloodstream apparently. And it's expensive, all this kind of thing. So the company that's now making the glutathione in water. Glutathione is a powder, as are most things. You look up pretty well anything, you can get it from labs, you can buy it on eBay. Glutathione is a powder, and it is very easily dissolved in water. Its bioavailability has been lacking. Taking it straight into the stomach, or the IVs, or even a liposomal, which means it's wrapped in a fat or a lipid. So the guy or his team that came up with the brilliant breakthrough idea of reacting and blasting the glutathione molecule to make it nano-sized, which just means really, 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 really small. A nanometer is 1/1000th of a meter, so that is incredibly small. So it has meant that the glutathione, instead of being wiped out by stomach acids, is now within 70 seconds absorbed straight into the cell walls, where it goes to work to detox and then regenerate. Now, I was asked about nano-sizing particles and, the long-term studies on it. Well, there's no long-term studies on it because it's the company's been working on the technology, the reacting of it, and it's been, I think, 18 months or perhaps going on for 2 years that it's been out in the marketplace, where they've been testing first with athletes, that kind of thing, to find their increase in energy, and then their muscle mass, regaining muscle mass, has been pretty remarkable, and people de-aging before their own eyes. And in the United States, I tell you what, the general population, well, I have to say, certainly Australia is the same. England, when we were there, was disgusting. But the older population were not aging properly at all. Just horrifying, actually. So in the now a different form of having it absorbed and therefore bioavailable into our bodies and being so effective, people are regaining their lives. And that's the whole point of me going, wait on, I'd better take a look at this, because this is something my mother can do. And it's a simple method of a capful, swishing for 30 seconds and then swallowing. Through the swishing, you know that our first line of defense is through the saliva of our mouth, but swishing, the absorption under the gums gets into the bloodstream and then the cells super fast. Even my mother, at 87 and losing the plot as she has done in and out like this, she can swish and swallow. So people are finding it to be miraculous, yes. The guy who started the company, his name is Stephen Scott. He's been on TV for decades, sold billions of dollars worth of products that he regarded as breakthrough at the time. He's well known in the USA and counts many well-known people as friends, etc. The only one I remember is Chuck Norris, but anyway. you'd probably recognise him. It's no, I say this because of Yah's experience. Doesn't do him any favours that he lives in Utah, because you know where he's coming from with his mindset, and that was proved this weekend when I told him about Yah, and absolutely no interest at all. After all, he's written a couple of books about Jesus Speaks. So that was totally expected, and I don't hold it against him at all. I knew he would reject from the get-go. And I told him about something that's more remarkable than his delivery system of the glutathione, which in itself is wonderful and marvellous and helping people all over the planet, which is why I followed through with it, got some for my mother, and then ordered more to help out others that I know. And so with this, his total disinterest, because suddenly the phone call comes in. I know it's a total thing. He had to take off because he was talking to a paraplegic woman, or a quadriplegic woman from Africa. And I'd already told him about the blood of the lamb. And Karina's daughter, Kayla, her remarkable feat at the triple dump. And those that know Yah, he was a high jumper in high school, and he was pegged, if you like, as a possible for the Olympics. However, at the time he was living in his car. He would park under magnificent trees in a street of Strathfield because the atmosphere in the street was awesome. So he slept in a car. He knew it would be hopeless because there was no support from Reg or Daphne, and he's living in his car as a teenager. However, he was told that they thought that he could reach a height of 7 feet 7 inches, which is 2.3114 meters high. And as it turns out, the son who was at this meeting in Sydney on Sunday is a high jumper, and his highest, I think he said, was 2.15 meters. But he swishes with glutathione before he jumps, and he gets that extra surge of energy, and it's all completely natural. There's no, you can do drug tests and things and don't find anything. Anyway, long story short, I was trying to speak to the son, knowing that the old man would reject, which he did, and it just didn't happen. The common thing was that Yah was a high jumper. He was an athlete. Yah used to run everywhere. He was an athlete, and he could bench press 800 pounds. Because part of the story with this whole squish thing is that one of the athletes who was going downhill speedily and could no longer bench press his 800 pounds, he was down to 750 pounds or something. So after taking the swish, he regained his strength, and he exceeded his own records to be lifting bench pressing more than 900 pounds. And muscles on the guy at 59 and older, just remarkable, muscle bound, that's his life, that's okay. The point is that these people do this as a bench press. Yah lifted the transmission for a truck, one of his trucks, while he was in Canada. And Reg happened to be there as a witness. It was a time when Reg and Daphne came to visit. It was a disastrous visit. However, Reg did witness Yah changing out the transmission of his logging truck. And apparently it's the only time he bragged about anything that Yah did, because that transmission weighed about 800 pounds. So it's one thing to be bench pressing a bar, but it's a completely something else to actually lift an 800-pound transmission into place. Or how about to lift a Jaguar car off yourself as all part of Yah's story? So, getting back to the glutathione. It's simple as a wave, and it is bringing renewed life to a lot of people on the planet. It's to answer a question that was asked about the fear of clumping and that kind of thing. I did ask the question, and it's blown up. It becomes smaller. There's no fear of it clumping with anything. That does happen with the carbon that's found in bloodstreams and the clumping together of the proteins, etc. This is the opposite. It's already blown and it's suspended in the water and then immediately absorbed into the cells. So, I've been taking a look at that as well. And, just to tell you, actually, I asked a friend to come along because she'd moved back down to the Brisbane area. And so she came along because she enjoyed our company. It was a good excuse, and just showing her this meeting, which really was an excuse to get together. Because all of the information was exactly the same in their Zoom calls. And I had a really interesting encounter on the way down. Total Yah setup, absolutely. Now, so my friend's sitting there, and Amber was with me, and so she's hearing all about it for the first time. Amber and I had heard everything that was said there. And so she says, look, I've had a pain in my shoulder blade in her back for some hours that day. If it can shift that'll be really good. So she was given a small bottle of 1 week's supply for being at the meeting. And so she swished immediately, and then we had her signing up through the app underneath Amber. So then she went back to the table to be given a 1 month supply as for signing up. And but she said that pain did leave her shoulder, and through the night, because she stayed overnight in our hotel with us, after swishing once, it was only once, she had a reaction where she just detoxed. She spent an hour in the bathroom detoxing, and she was surprised at what came out of her. Obviously it was really, really old. And then she fell into a very deep sleep until I opened the curtains. It was really dark while the curtains were closed, but ended up being quite late on the Sunday morning when she woke up out of a deep sleep. And then we walked to the botanical gardens, had a lovely morning together, and she left us around about 12:30 to catch the train back to Newport, Brisbane area. And she sent a text message to say that she got home quite well, safely on the train, and that she was feeling marvellous. So she'll be swishing. And she's a 74-year-old woman already feeling the effects of this. So, yes, uterus swish. And the company, I'll put the link in, go and have a look. Because, if you can't get a hold of Yah's water, then we've had some amazing results from just Yah's water. Amber told me that it wasn't even the water with Yah's DNA in it. It was silver water that we'd made and sent to Kyogle for Amber and her mum. And they gave a bottle, maybe more, to a man who had a massive tumour on his neck. And he had already, that's right, he'd already been taking silver water, but what the girls did is that they took a thread. If you remember years ago, the Sudarim, the white linen face cloth size that we sent out to those who requested it, because Yah we had washed it in a tub of silver water with Yah's blood in the water at that time, the blood of the Lamb. And so from that cloth, the girls, how can we get Yah's DNA? And they put just a thread from that cloth into the silver water that they gave the man with a massive tumour. And he went to the doctor a couple of weeks ago and they could not find the tumour. And it was so obvious. It was so obvious. It was massive apparently, and then gone. The blood of the Lamb, the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. It takes on a whole new meaning, and this is what I tried to explain to the one with the glutathione, and look, go for it. It works. However, Yah just said to me, it won't save him. So that's up to date. So, ride the wave. Oh, the other part of the conversation with the messenger was about the river of life. The river of life is your life. So many have been caught up in the AI. They're not living their lives. They're drowning because of the AI. So you've got to jump into the river of life, which is what Yah has said to everybody that has found us. Get on with your life. That's the gift you've been given, is your life. So, you jump into the river of life, and you're either going to swim, you can paddle, you may sink, you may drown. And certainly that's what's happening with all those connected to the AI. And that was Yah's warning last time. Focus on Him, nothing else in this world matters, and live in joy and loving relationships around you. Doesn't matter who's around you. You don't have to hate anybody. You don't have to. Live your life. Ride the wave, being mentally prepared as much as you can, physically prepared if you've got an unction of what to do, but mostly it's mentally and physically, spiritually prepared. So I'll put the link. I call myself Kingdom Come. Take a look at the glutathione and the results that people have been getting with this marvellous new delivery system. It's described as the Federal Express rather than the snail mail delivery system. Federal Express, that's putting it in simplified terms. And you don't have to spend, you can become a member and then sit there and do nothing until you decide to do something because you've seen these results, or you're using it yourself and you're going, oh my God, I've got to tell people about this. That's what's going on. It's now in 51 nations, and apparently it's going to be distributed, warehoused and distributed from Australia from April, coming via New Zealand, and because of the trade agreement with New Zealand and Australia, it can now be warehoused in Australia rather than ordering all the way from Utah. It only took 10 days to get from Utah to my door anyway. So take a look at it and just ride the wave. Later, Gators.